Good morning, everyone. My name is Fre, and today you're watching Budget with Fre. Excuse me. Today I am going back to the basics. So I understand and I realize that with the new year comes a lot of new budgeters and people looking for a place to start. And a lot of times, I've been doing this for, I don't know, about a year and a half now. And a lot of times they come in and they're like, what's going on? What are these savings challenges? What are all these fake bills in their envelopes? How do they budget so much money or cash stuff so much money? How are they able to come up with money for savings challenges? So they don't get the real picture of how to start, where to begin. And my system may not work for everybody. And that's the great thing about all the different budgeters on YouTube is you can really get to see the different ways that people approach budgeting, because this is a personal experience for you and you have to do what's going to work for you, what you're going to stick to. So if you watch, several different budgeting channels, you will get a little bit that may be helpful to you from each of those budgeters. So I am sending out a challenge to all my budgeting friends on here that have been doing budgeting a while. Do a going back to basics budget for all of our new people that may have just joined in the last few months or that just joined in January that's looking for help. And let's all flood them with some advice and some encouragement and some tips and tricks and things that you've learned along the way. And I actually think if we do that, we can do hashtag budgeting newbie. And let's see, hashtag budgeting newbie. That way, anybody that is new to the budgeting community can just punch in this hashtag budgeting newbie, and they'll be able to see anybody that posts any videos that might pertain to them and getting started and things that they've learned along their journey. So that's kind of what today's video is about. I'm going to try and keep it as short and sweet as I can, but I want to give you some things that work for me. So first thing you want to do when starting out is your first month, you really want to take the time to review every single bill and everything you buy. Every single bill and everything you buy. This is so important. If you don't do this, you're not going to set yourself up for success. This also includes any automatic drafts and subscriptions, because that's something that people forget a lot is about subscriptions. So don't forget your automatic monthly drafts. And your subscriptions. So you want to list them all, track them over a month's period. I know most of you are like, oh, but I want to jump into this. Don't miss this first step. I think any budgeter on here will tell you that this as a first step is your most important thing you could possibly do. Next, you want to also calculate all of your debt. another very important step, because you need to see what you need to tackle. Because before you can start, you know, all the savings challenges, like I do an extreme amount of savings challenges, but during those first several months of budgeting, I did not do as many savings challenges. I really focused on debt. So it's something that's important to tackle, is your debt. And then once you have all of this, that's when you can start to draft your budget. So just for the ease, I'm gonna assume my paycheck is $1,000 per month. Per week. And that would equal what, 4,000 per month. So hold on, my dog wants to go outside, so hold on. Okay, real life here, stuff happens. Okay, so we're assuming we make $1,000 per week. So the first thing you want to do, that I do, not all budgeters, some budgeters, you'll notice they put their bills in their folders. They put the money in there, end of the month, they take the money out and pay their bills with it. I, on the other hand, pay all my bills first, but you have to have the willpower not to spend the money. So 1,000 per week. I'm assuming my bills for the month, for the week. Well, I take my bills, divide them per week to see how much I need to save. So let's just assume my bills for the week come to $420, which would mean that my bills for the month are $1,680. I wrote this out next to me on my cheat sheet. That's how I know this. I'm not really that good in math. Okay, so now I've paid my bills. I've taken it out of the $1,000. So I know I am left with $580 for the week to play with. That could be used for my sinking funds, which I call savings funds, but they're called, like if you watch Dave Ramsey, he calls them sinking funds. I just think it's a negative word. A lot of YouTubers on here kind of think it's a negative word. So we have $580 to stuff, which if we put that out as a month's sum, that would be $2,320 that we're looking at saving for the month, whether they're in sinking funds, whether it's going into a debt envelope, whether it's going into savings challenge, however you want to do it, emergency fund, or if you're saving up to do investing or Roth, that's where this whole amount's got to be divided up for. So the next thing we're going to do is you need to have some cash to play with in your wallet for everyday things, gas, groceries. So I set up my cash in wallet. Each person's going to do their own thing. I'm going to go with the basics here of spending, grocery, and gas. Now you can also add kids, eating out, giving, beauty, home, things that you think you spend when you're out and about, and you can put them in your envelope and just put a set amount. So I'm gonna just play around with numbers here, and I'm gonna do $40 for spending for the week, $100 for groceries for the week, and $40 for gas for the week. You may need more, you may need less. If you're a single person living on your own, maybe you don't need $100. If you're a family of 4, maybe you need $150. You just have to play it. This is your budget, and I'm just giving you an example. So if we added all of these, it would come to $180. You with me so far? Okay. So if I take out this $180 from this $580, I am left with $400 to use for sinking funds. Or savings. You can decide. Again, it's completely up to you. It's your budget, your journey on how you want to get debt free, or if you don't have debt, you know, just what you want to save for. So the next thing you're going to do is list out some things that are important to you, that you want to save for. Don't focus on too many. I think that's a huge mistake new budgeters come across. I know I did it. I had a fund for every little thing. I mean, if I needed to buy toothpicks, there was an envelope for it. It's just I had too many, and it becomes not achievable. And what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself pulling from one and paying this and paying that, and you're never going to build it up. So it's important to start small. Pick the most important things. So for this example, I'm going to use self-care, because at the end of the day, self-care is so important. Insurance, because most people have some sort of insurance, whether it's home insurance, car insurance, whatever it may be. Car maintenance, another important one to have. This one can sink you, because if you don't have car maintenance and you drive and you have a car and you need, let's say, a tire goes or something happens, well, now you're going to have to pull. If you don't have an envelope for car maintenance, you're going to have to pull from one of these other envelopes. And this is usually a costly fund, not a costly fund, but a costly bill if you happen to come across a car maintenance problem. So it's important it's almost like an emergency if something happens to your car, so you don't have to pull from other envelopes. Another one that's just as important as car maintenance, because it's another one that can sink you very quickly, is home repairs. Things that could happen: a dishwasher goes down, a washer machine goes down, you get a roof leak, or whatever the case may be. If something happens in your home and you're not prepared for it, you're gonna have to pull from all your other envelopes, and you're gonna start from scratch. So these two are almost like insurances for your home. Next is taxes. This can be home taxes, condo taxes, state taxes. If you have your own business or you're starting an Etsy store or whatever it may be, taxes is another one. Important to have, could sink you at the end of the year if you don't have a fund for it. One that a lot of budgeters don't use, I rely on it heavily, and I use it for a lot of different things. It's an unbudgeted category. I kind of use it as a buffer for whatever happens. So, you know, let's say in car maintenance, I have 100, but that new tire is 180. I know I can pull from this unbudgeted envelope to cover this without having to pull from home repairs or self-care or car maintenance, or, you know, from one of my bills that I have to pay. I know I have money here. It's another insurance. I found when I started out, I didn't have these specific funds, and when things went wrong, I had to empty out all my envelopes to make up for it. So that's what I'm trying to set you guys up not to have to do. And then another big one that gets people in a lot of credit card debt is holidays. It's important to budget for that. Even now, I'm already budgeting and putting money aside for Christmas holiday, for Halloween holiday, for Thanksgiving holiday. You know, these are all things that come up, and if you don't start saving, even if it's $10, even if it's $20, you can get in trouble come the end of the year and have to rack up your credit cards. So for the purpose of this, I am going to just use these as my sinking funds. So if, let me grab my calculator. I'll be right back. Okay, so hopefully this is in frame. So if I'm figuring this out, and I do $10 in self-care, I put $25 in insurance, I put $10 into car maintenance, $10 into home repairs, $30 into taxes, $95 into unbudgeted, and $20 into holidays. So when I'm first figuring it out and figuring out my funds, what I normally do is take my let me make sure this isn't free, $400 that I have, and I just start writing numbers down and subtracting. So I would do, okay, I'll put $10 in self-care, we minus $10. It gives us $390. Then insurance, I know I need, let's say, your tax bill is $800 at the end of the month. Well, you could do 800 divided by 52 weeks in a year and know that you need to put $15 a week. If it's $1,200, you could divide it by 52 weeks in a year and know that you need $23 a week. So depending on what your bill is, you can figure out the weekly amount you need to put in based on your bill. For this example, I'm using 25. So we were at 390. So I'm going to take 25 out for insurance. Car maintenance, I'm going to put $10 a week. I'm going to take $10 out. Home repairs, I'm going to put $10 a week into. Oops, shoot, hold on. 400 minus 10 minus 25 minus 10 minus 10. Okay, taxes, for this example, I'm using 30, so we're gonna minus out 30. I have 315, and then holidays is 20, 295. So how I figured it out on how much to put in unbudgeted is I knew I wanted to put into savings. This could be used for savings challenges. It could be used to go into your bank savings, emergency fund, however you want to call it. I knew I wanted to put $100 into savings. And if I had credit card debt, I knew I wanted to put $100 towards my credit card debt. So that was $200, right? If you didn't have this credit card debt, then you could take this 100, maybe add it to savings, or maybe put extra money into your basic categories. But for this example, we're gonna minus out that 200. That left me with $95. I threw 95 into unbudgeted. Remember what I said. I use unbudgeted as a buffer because I don't wanna have to touch these funds if I go over, because it's inevitable, you're gonna go over at some point. So then if I add up all of these things, 10, 25, 10, 10, 30, 95, 20, and 200. Hold on. 10, 25, 10, 10, 30, 95, 20, and 200. That brings us our 400. If we add in, if we add in our 180 that we put in our wallet, that brings us to 580. And if we put in our bills that we paid, that gives us our $1,000, which was our paycheck, which brings us to a zero out budget, which is what your goal should be. You don't want a lot of money left over. You want to give each of your dollar bills a job to do. So by doing this, we are giving them a job. Another thing you want to do is, if on certain funds, you can cap them off. So if you know at no point am I ever going to need more than, let's say, $200 in self-care because I really don't do too much, then cap it at 200. When you hit 200, now you can take that $10, put it somewhere else, or start a new fund. So cap these things. If you know your insurance bill at the end of the year is $800, cap it at $800. That way you can always start a new fund or allocate that money to another envelope. Some other things that I wanted to go over with you is, again, like I said, watch several budgeters, see what makes sense for you based on other budgeters, because what I'm doing may not work for you. Next, I'm not a financial advisor. I should have said that from the beginning. This is what works for me. I'm just sharing what works for me. This video is for entertainment purposes. It's not how you should do your thing. So make sure, like I said, watch several people, figure out what will work for you to be able to help you stick to this. Don't be afraid to fail. You're gonna fail. Sad to say, but you're gonna fail. I failed 4 times and started over with my budget and with my envelopes. I've watched any YouTuber, most of them have started over at some point where they've wiped it clean because some emergency comes up. That's okay. Give yourself grace. It happens. Remember, as you pay off debts or cap amounts on sinking funds, allocate the money someplace else. Always give your money purpose. It's when you don't give your money purpose that you go and just blow money on things you don't need. And I know I said it before, don't take on too much in the beginning. Don't feel you have to do 20 savings challenges and have 20 envelopes. You don't need it. As you start to, like, you'll see me, I do have probably about 24 different envelopes, and I probably do 20 savings challenges. It took me 1.5 years to get there. Until you get there, don't try to do too many. If you stretch yourself too thin, you're gonna set yourself up for failure. And let's go into savings challenges. So like I said, don't take on too many. Start with a couple. Look through Etsy. There's tons of savings challenges. Start with a couple, and once you complete those, maybe the next time you take on 3. What you do with those savings challenges is completely up to you. I tend to use mine to go into my sinking funds. Where I need extra help, I'll put them in, or I put it into savings, emergency fund. I've put them into investing. So wherever you need that money is where the savings go. And then it's just a fun way of saving for your long-term expenses or long-term goals that you have for yourself. And start out with low budget friendly savings challenges. Ones that you can see achievable results really quickly, because too many people I see, including myself, I've done it twice. I've taken on that 100 envelope challenge. It looks like so much fun to be able to count $5,000 when it's all over. But I promise you, as a new budgeter, it's gonna be hard. Even for the most experienced budgeters, it's a hard challenge to complete. It's hard when you get up to those, anything over $50, and you're having to pull and find money to fund that every week after week after week, and then it takes a whole year for you to see those results. There's so many smaller challenges of $100, $200, $300 that you can do once you get a good grip on your budgeting and a good grip on your money, and it becomes second nature to you. Then try and tackle that 100 envelope challenge. And one thing I don't do, but I think most of you should do, and I'm terrible at it and I have to get better at it, I do try to do it, is track your expenses. Keep track of what you're spending on. That way you can change or adjust your budget as you need to based on what you're spending. And budgeting can be for any age. As you guys know, I do my mom's budgeting. I help her, with her money. My daughter, she does her own budget. It's not really a budget with bills. She doesn't have bills yet, but she does have her binder. She does have things she's saving for her future car. She's even broken that down to, she has envelopes for insurance for her future car, gas for her future car, repairs for her future car. She has her savings and investing. And she has things like clothes, electronics, spending. These are all little things she uses whenever she gets gift money or money that she earns from doing chores or whatever. It goes into whatever specific envelope she has. So literally any age can start budgeting. So if you have children, teach them. It's the best thing you could do as a parent, probably, because they don't really teach that stuff in school, unfortunately. So just like we would teach them to tie their shoe, we should teach them how to be educated with money, investing, savings, all of those things. So you can go ahead and open them up. I know my daughter I have her set up with Fidelity. They have a teen account. So in Fidelity, she's able to pick her stocks, and she has stocks in Snapchat. She has stocks in, she just bought a share of Disney. So it's things that they like doing. So don't be afraid to include your children in this and teach them the basics of budgeting. So anyways, I'm going to cut this video off, but I hope this was helpful to some people. I know I get a lot of questions on budgeting and how people just starting out and how they do it. And a lot of times, again, like I said, you come in the middle and I have thousands of dollars. It wasn't like that. Go back to my first video. It was just like piecemeal starting out, and you'll see where I have failed along the way. But hopefully some of these tips will help you. Again, I am not a financial advisor. I can't say that enough. I've never gone to school for anything financial, but it's what I've learned over the year and a half. And hopefully some of these things will help you. And again, to all my budgeting friends that are out there that have YouTube channels, I think we owe it to our viewers at least once a year to bring it back to basics. Teach our followers, viewers on here that are new how we got where we are. Give them tips and tricks, and that's kind of what I wanted to do here today. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. If you have questions on anything I said today, please, please, please do not hesitate. Ask me the questions. I promise I will try my best to answer everyone's questions. And yeah, I guess that's it. That's going to be a wrap. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all real soon. All right. Bye, guys.